Okay, all right. So I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I'm going to pull up my slideshow for the business meeting. Let's see. Okay, so welcome to the December meeting of the Barnard Astronomical Society. And unfortunately, this is unlike our normal December meetings. We would usually be enjoying good food and each other's company, and probably doing something fun, hands-on. But unfortunately, our situation this year is such that we didn't feel safe to do something like that. But hopefully, hopefully things begin to turn around next year, and we can begin to safely meet again. So I'd like to welcome you all, and especially to our new member, Dennis, and he's here with us tonight. And for the roll call, I just want to check in with officers who are here this evening. And I know I see, let's see, we've got Dustin. I kept wanting to say Dennis, and I just, for the life of me, couldn't get the rest of the correct D out. Okay, yeah, Dustin, thank you.
Good evening.
We have Janet's here, and Beth is our newsletter editor. Our program coordinator is Ralph, and we have Natoka here as our secretary taking minutes for the meeting this evening. And again, we welcome all the members. So the meeting minutes were sent in the newsletter by email. So we need to approve those minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion, we approve them.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving on to our financial report. Janet, do you want to talk a little about this for us?
Yeah, let's see. We got one new member, David Doyle, and we got 3 renewals. We've got a total of 86 members right now. And the checking count on December 7th was $1,557.72.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I'd like to thank all of those members who have renewed their membership. And again, welcome our new member. And as a reminder, since again, we are in the Christmas season and the gift giving season, to consider sharing BAS membership with others. For example, family and friends for the holidays. I think it would be a good gift to give for anyone interested. I don't have any correspondence to relay, and there's no unfinished business from the last meeting. I did in this newsletter kind of put a call out for interested people in putting together plans for the 100-year anniversary. So hopefully that reaches out beyond those who typically attend the meetings, and we can get some members willing to participate in that. So let's see. Moving on to new business and announcements. So we are looking for a new newsletter editor beginning in January. And before I talk a little bit more about that, I want to give the biggest thanks to Beth Wallace for putting together the newsletter over the past 2 years for the Society.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So her work will be missed, but we do hope to be able to archive many those past newsletters, because they actually hold a wealth of information of club not only club activities and also institutional memory for us, but also articles submitted by our members, well-researched articles and interesting articles. So again, thank you, Beth, for taking the time to put that together. And you've done a fantastic job.
Well, thank you. And it was really a team effort. And, everyone who wrote articles, especially Ralph, Matt, you know, all of our secretaries, Dustin, Janet, everyone. It's really a team effort and a contribution. And so I just appreciate everyone who has helped with that over the years, and anybody who's contributed articles and photos. Made my job a lot easier. So thank you.
So with that, like I mentioned, we are looking for someone to take over those duties. And if you are interested, please contact me, and I can, Beth is willing to kind of guide you in getting that initial newsletter prepared and let you know kind of what's involved and time commitments and such. And so again, if you're interested, let me know. Also, we're always looking for future program ideas. So if you have any ideas about content you would like to see presented at meetings, contact Ralph. And since I'm mentioning Ralph, I do want to say a huge thank you to Ralph McConnell, who over the past several newsletters has written a number of articles for the newsletter. And I highlighted this in my newsletter kind of note that, you know, and Ralph can correct me if I'm wrong here, but from what I understand, it started as trying to spark interest in the Messier objects. And he ended up continuing past that, writing articles about different topics of interest to him and to the membership. And that added great value to the newsletter. And I want to thank him for putting that time and effort in. And so thank you, Ralph, very much for that.
You're welcome.
And what was that?
I said, you're welcome. I enjoyed it.
Good. So if anyone wants to contribute articles, if you're interested in, you know, forcing yourself to learn about something you've always wanted to learn, a great way to do that is to write an article for the newsletter or give a presentation, give a program. Kevin and I kind of did that. I've always wanted to learn a little bit more about the geology of Mars, and giving that program actually was pretty exciting because I learned a lot while doing it. So please consider doing something like that if you're interested. Just to give a little bit of news of what's coming in our emails to BAS, we've received a couple of emails asking about donating some telescopes. So donating telescopes to the society. And so we're seeking some information about those scopes and where they're located. And, you know, we have storage issues, but, you know, some of those might be opportunities for the club. And in the announcement, I'm going to talk about something that was forwarded from the Kalamazoo Astronomical Society, which reminded me of the new telescope workshop that we have done in the past in the spring. And I didn't know if we had something like that planned in January. Does anyone know if we have something like that that we're planning? I know it would need to be virtual.
We typically do that, and we do it at Harrison Bay, and but I don't know that there is a plan on. That's usually something that Ralph and I have been, and Bobby have been pretty heavily involved in. Kevin Maziulis is pretty well involved in that too. But
do you see that as something that could be done virtually?
That could be interesting. No, turn your tube around.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, maybe that's
they would have to have video
brainstorm.
for sure.
Yeah. Maybe that's something we can brainstorm and, you know, see if that's going to be possible this year or this coming year.
We've had to fix a few of them too. So
Yeah. That's
problems
in collimating a telescope too. It's kind of hard to do over the tube.
Right. Yeah. So there are some challenges associated with that. Okay. Well, is there any other new business that we should consider?
Program for next month.
Okay.
We have David Dickinson, who's an author that Dustin put me on, and apparently Matt knows him also. He's sending us a signed copy of his newest book, which we'll raffle off during the meeting. But you have to be at the meeting. You have to be at the end of the meeting to win the book. But somebody's going to get a signed copy of his newest book.
And what's the title of that book again?
That is The Backyard Astronomer's Field Guide. And it's a very good book. I bought one myself and went through it before I went much further with him. And it's I've enjoyed the book. It's a good guide. So, but he's sending me one that he's signed, and we'll raffle it off, and I'll get it to you after the program somehow. I don't know how, but I'll get it to you.
We'll find a way. Great, thank you. Any other new business? Okay, on to announcements. I don't know why there's a question mark at the end of that. I was forwarded, I believe it might have been from Janet, a flyer from the Kalamazoo Astronomical Society, and they have several offerings over the winter months that include some online viewing sessions from their telescope in Arizona. They have a short workshop on the introduction to amateur astronomy, and then a 12-week-long introduction to astronomy course that meets twice a week for 12 weeks. And if there's any interest in that, that can be something I can share the flyer that I have that has links to that information, but it's an opportunity to get some information there. And I know a few of us discussed this prior to going to the start of the meeting, but I'd like to hear from those of you who have plans for how you're going to view and where you're going to view the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction on the solstice.
I'm a wet blanket, and I'm going to tell you what I've seen on the Weather Channel. The forecast doesn't look very good at all.
Oh no! So
That's
we're
2 weeks away.
So where's everyone going to travel to go see the conjunction?
Arizona. It's raining there today, though, so I don't know.
Where's the conjunction junction going to be? I had to go there. Sorry.
Richard, you were doing
that
some
was a
scouting,
malfunction.
weren't you?
Yeah, so Heather and I went up to the Tennessee Highway 111 overlook that overlooks the Sequatchie Valley, and just to kind of see what kind of viewing we might be able to expect there, and I think it's going to be really good. It's fairly close to anybody in the Hickson, this side of the river, Soddy Daisy, maybe even Signal Mountain area. But I plan on taking my Skywatcher EvaStar, and I might try to take a picture or two from it. Stephen might take the ETX 125. But it's a nice little spot, and it's a beautiful view of the valley, and it's amazingly dark except for the ridiculous amount of traffic coming up Highway 111. It's busier than you would think it would be, but it's amazing how dark the sky is. But it looks like we're going to have good viewing angle there. I posted a picture on Facebook of from my Stellarium, or excuse me, Sky Safari with the augmented reality on, so it showed the terrain, and then where Jupiter and Saturn were at 6 o'clock our time yesterday evening, in a absolutely drop dead gorgeous sunset. So I think that's where we're going to go, and even if the 21st is is cloudy, it's going to be pretty good for several days beforehand and several days probably afterwards, except it might be getting a little bit low in the sky. So I plan on probably going out multiple times. Just if there's a shot at clear skies, if I don't get it on the 21st, I'll settle for the 18th. It's still going to be pretty spectacular. So that's my plan, and anybody's welcome to join us out there.
Is that area big enough to safely distance and, blah, blah, blah? With, you know,
Yeah,
social
yeah.
distance and all that stuff.
Yeah. It's a pretty good spot. We went up there when Neowise was in the evening sky, and there were quite a few people who were up there to look at the comet, and some of them had telescopes. They didn't know which end to look through. But we did have a couple of people come. I had Heather was looking through the binoculars on my Orion binocular stand, and put a mask on and you can look through, but not very many people really bothered us. But it's a fairly decent sized space. It's people go there to observe the hang gliders. There's a hang gliding launch point off of the plateau up there. When we were coming home from Thanksgiving, we counted 10 hang gliders in the air. And it was kind of busy then. So it is, and there's a nice big sidewalk area that you could set a scope up. So I'll put something in the group's IO
That'd be great.
when we if we're going up there, if anybody wants to join us.
Great.
And I've offered also anyone can come down to my place and also look through the 14-inch telescope when they both together. You can bring your own eyepiece. That way we don't have to worry about touching or whatever. And you can set up a telescope outside. I have about 2 acres mowed there. You can bring your telescopes in.
Wonderful.
Just give me a call.
Looks like I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I don't. It looks like my picture's frozen. Is my picture frozen?
I can't see anyone, so.
Okay. If it's frozen, I'm talking. So I was going to try to roll a 12-inch stub up the hill, my subdivision out here on White Oak Mountain, and show people in the neighborhood. But it's got to be safe, right? And then hopefully, and maybe Matt will talk about this, but would love to be able just to have some kind of camera or maybe the iPhone on the eyepiece projecting to a laptop. I got a laptop. You don't have to bring power out for that. Maybe you guys have some ideas on how to do that.
Yeah, hopefully tonight's program will give us some ideas about how we can all do that.
Right. So Matt, no pressure, buddy.
I used to do that with the Walker County school system.
But if it's cloudy that night, it's because Matt did that little cartoon the other day with the clouds in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Great. Anyone else want to mention what they plan to do? All right. Those sound great. We'll be hopefully where there are clear skies and viewing it for ourselves, and I'm very excited about that. Are there any other announcements? Okay, so that brings us to adjourning the meeting. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
Great, thank you. Okay, so our program this evening is Matt Harbison, and he is going to wow us and dazzle us with live astronomy broadcasting. And I will let Matt take it over from here. Yes, I can hear you.
So Matt, are you the red shirt guy on Star Trek?
Don't go on the away team.
Do not leave the deck.
Testing, 1, 2, testing. Okay, I think that's got it. Let's see. See if I come through in the main feed. All right, I'm gonna swap screens here for a second. Okay, all right, I'm in the feed now. I just wanted to make sure because I've realized this broadcasting stuff is not easy. Having said that, I am going to minimize the screen here and share my screen. So if everybody could minimize their video over to the side, I'll pull up. Or actually, no, you're fine. You don't need to do that at all. I can still do this. All right. So here you can see my screen, my setup. I'm going to take these off. I don't need them anymore. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I hear you good.
All right. So I have several different windows open. And first of all, I just want to say that if you think astronomy is hard, then this is like playing Sudoku while doing astronomy, while underwater holding your breath. It's there's just so many moving parts to live astronomy. And I'll talk a little bit at the end about maybe some easier ways to do it. But I want to show you how I do it. And you've seen the picture with both of my scopes on the screens. I have a 3-monitor setup. So I have a monitor directly in front of me that has my broadcasting window. Now that's this. If you can see my mouse moving here, this is SharpCap Pro. And this is a picture of an out of focus Edge 11. And try as I might, I could not get this in focus tonight in time for the feed. And that's a real shame. I'm sorry. I didn't have enough time after I got home from work between getting home and setting up the scope and getting this ready. But this is SharpCap Pro, and it's free. Now, there is a paid version. I always recommend to buy the astronomy software because people in astronomy, they're like us. They do it because we love it, you know. And if they can make a little side hustle and make a buck here and there, I'm all about supporting those folks. So if you've got SharpCap, bump that up to SharpCap Pro and give them $15. I think that's what it is. And it's pretty awesome. Are you guys not seeing my screen? You should
I can see you fine.
No, you're good.
Yeah, you should see you should see quite a bit here. Here we go. Okay. And I've got several windows open for you to see. Now, I'm going to share several different screens tonight while I'm doing this.
So Matt, that one on the left, that's your telescope right now.
It is. It is my telescope right now.
And you can't go outside and turn the focuser for us.
Well, I can do it from in here. The problem is I was set up with a different focus. I had a reducer on there. All right, it's going to get a little weird here, so everybody hang on.
What? Warp 1.
Yep, okay. Now, do you guys see? You should see a broadcaster window.
Yes.
Okay, what are you seeing right now?
It just went away. We're back to our room window.
They're smiling faces.
Okay, how about now? You're seeing it now. This is a broadcaster window, and the software I'm going to discuss mainly tonight is called OBS.
Hey, Matt, we're not seeing it, buddy.
Oh, you're not seeing it? Give it a couple seconds. It's gonna come up. A little bit of delay. Still not seeing it?
Negative.
All right.
I'm impatient.
Hang on one second. Let me move you over here. Right, there's this. I'm gonna move you here. How about now?
There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, we got it now. Okay. I'm having to share two screens because I have to put it in the broadcaster to go to YouTube and Facebook, and I have to send it to you. As you can see, SharpCap Pro is failing miserably right now and trying to stack 317 frames, but it's unable to because none of them will align. And that's because it's extremely out of focus, as you can see. This window that's up in the middle of the screen right now is called OBS, and it's online broadcasting system. So It's a free broadcasting software, and it allows you to put different inputs together to display it online. And I'll show you how this works. Now, I'm going to take you through the entire BAS meeting in OBS, which is free. Again, I'll say that. Here is the title screen, and you'll notice I have it under opening. So the way you add a screen is you simply press the plus, name your scene, and then associate it with a file. So in this case, it's associated with the BAS loading screen that I've created for the meeting. And that is part of my scenes, okay? So it's loaded into memory. Here you'll notice at the bottom there is a desktop audio meter and a mic audio meter. Now the desktop is what's playing on the screen. So if there's audio on the screen, it will be coming through this desktop feed. If there's audio through a mic, which you're hearing me on, it will come through the mic and auxiliary. And you can see it moving with my voice. If you move down to Stellarium, it's probably not up because I haven't started it. I had a crash right before the meeting, so I'll start it. You can watch that come up. So there's Stellarium. It's starting. It's already programmed to be in the feed, so once Stellarium starts, it should pop up over here so you can see it. There you go. There's Stellarium. So then, and you'll see Stellarium. I've named it. I've associated it with the program Stellarium. Here is my SharpCap feed. And again, it's associated with a SharpCap feed. Here's my all-sky camera on the roof of my house. Shh, don't tell my wife. She doesn't watch these meetings. And you'll see it's associated with my website. And then this is a live cam. Now, I am unable to show you my live cam. You see me in the feed there, but I can't share it in two places at one time. You either have to have two cameras or one dedicated camera, but a camera has to be a dedicated source. It can't be sharing to multiple feeds unless you're screen sharing. So at the bottom here, I have all, and that's sharing this window over here, my third screen. And you'll notice this is what I usually go live with on YouTube. So I'm going to minimize some of this and show you how I control it while I'm doing the presentation. Here is Stellarium. I'm getting some screen tearing there because I have too many things going on at one time. Can you guys
So
still
Matt,
see?
while we're waiting, a quick question for you.
Sure, go ahead.
When you set these up to share, can you only share the entire window per se, or can you, like, if you wanted just to share the video part of your SharpCap feed and none of the settings for some reason, can you do that, or you have to do the whole thing?
You can do what you're asking, and
Okay,
and basically you do it by you can do what you're asking, and you do it. Oh, hang on. That was the wrong window. You do it by using what's called a smart window. And the smart window allows you to adjust for all of it, if that makes any sense. So you can actually, you pull, so I'll show you. I'll just create a feed to show you. So you see this, are you seeing the window with my mouse?
Yes.
Okay. You go and you add a scene. And you name the scene, and I'm going to name it All Sky Window. So it's not so it doesn't have the it doesn't have any of the other stuff. And you go to it's video window capture. And again, I always leave it there and call it All Sky. You can name it however you want to. And you can go and find the window you're using exactly, which would be right here. And then you can change this, you can change the zoom. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah. You don't have to go completely into it. I just wanted to make sure in case,
Sure.
there was some content I wanted to share and not if I ever did it.
Sure. Yeah,
there's a
you
way to
can
do
you
that.
can remove, you can add and remove. You could add a separate camera and just show that, whatever you'd want to do. So ideally, right now, I would have a feed of, say, Mars up here, and in Stellarium, I would go to Stellarium, zoom out, find Mars, and zoom in on it, and show what Mars was looking like while we had it on screen. Now, obviously, pretend this is Mars. And if you're not familiar with SharpCap, it allows you to just adjust things on the fly. The beautiful thing about it, you can plug it in via native, which I have it connected, my QHY168 connected natively here, or you can connect it through the ASCOM. Once that's connected, I have it set right now to live stack. So it stacks the photos as it takes them. You can adjust the gain. You can adjust the exposure, the offset. You can adjust whether or not it previews the debayered image. So you see a color image, and we are seeing a colored image now. And you can also adjust the histogram on the fly. So that's pretty handy for doing, if you've seen any of my Mars feeds, this is exactly how I had it set up. And this is my telescope control. You can see it's plugged in, and I'm able to slew them out east, west, north, and south should I need to fine tune something. And I have adjustable move rates, and all mount software has basically has a program kind of, or that they ship with it that you'll be able to do this with. Not all mounts, I should say. I'm not aware that all mounts have it, but I know that there are many mounts that ship with software to do it. I know there's EQ Mod Pro that allows you to do it with many of the Skywatchers and original Orion mounts, and Astrophysics has their software. Ioptron works well, and some of the others. There's really some amazing software out there these days that allow you to do this, and you simply need something to track here. But you'll notice that you have different rates. You have lunar rates, solar rates, and comet rates, and you can adjust all that.
How do we go online?
So if you want to go online, going online is the trickiest part, because it requires you to use something called a stream key. And I tried to figure out a way to show you that without showing you my stream key, and I couldn't figure out a way to do that. But I'm going to show you how you do it with OBS. So if you go to the window up here, if you see you see the window, if you go to the top and you go to Tools, the Auto Configuration Wizard will allow you to optimize for streaming, and you can choose how large you want to stream. So right now I've got 1920 by 1080, but from my monitors I usually do 2K. And then you can choose which service you want to choose or stream to. You can do Facebook Live, you can do Periscope or Twitter, you can do YouTube, you can do Restream, which is a paid service. But with Restream, you simply put your information in one time and it retains it. And that's kind of nice because, unfortunately, with these streaming services, sometimes like once a month they'll kick you out. You have to redo your streaming key. But such is life. So once you pick your service, I'm just going to do the YouTube service. You'll need a stream key, right? And I'm going to show you where to find that. I'm not going to show you my stream key, but I'm going to show you how you find that. If you go, let's see. If you go to Google, and let me see if I can pull up a window here. New window. All right, that'll work. And you go to the stream key and you Google YouTube stream key, the first thing it asks you is, how do I find my stream key? I'm not going to click this link because if I click the link, it'll take you right to my stream key. But if you are logged into Google through your Google account, you have a standing YouTube account, and you click this link, it will take you right to your stream key as long as you've got your YouTube set up properly. And what does that look like? Well, here is my YouTube page. And I'll show you the... Oh, I'm in the BAS right now. Hang on, let me get into the... So there's the YouTube account. Here is Space for Everybody, my page. And you can see all of my videos sitting there. Here's a live stream of the sun that I did the day before yesterday, just to give you an idea what that looks like. You can see my all-sky camera down in the bottom there. I'm going to bump it up to 4K just because it looks way better in 4K. There was a massive sunspot you can see there. Really nice sunspot. And again, once you pair the stream key, it's as simple as choosing the source you want to stream to and streaming. The auto confirmation wizard is inside OBS, and it allows you to get right to where you need to go. I'll get back to YouTube here and show you. I'll go to the Facebook. Again, stream key, get stream key. If you click get stream key here, it'll take you right to your stream key on Facebook if you're logged in. And then from there, you click start streaming. And it will stream straight to your page on Facebook. So it's pretty easy. The trick is getting your feed set up, as you can see. And again, you can set up Stellarium, SharpCap, All Sky, if you have an All Sky, a live webcam so you can be seen, and you can put them all together from one screen if you'd like. So there's all kinds of things you can do. Here at the bottom, you see these controls that make it kind of easy. If you want to start streaming, that takes you right to the different feeds. They're listed once you put them in. And you can stream right to your desired choice, Facebook Live or YouTube, which are kind of the two big ones. Now, the other piece of software that you could use would be XSplit. And I'm actually running XSplit right now, and I'll tell you why. Because I do solar with two different scopes, I found that XSplit gave me, for whatever reason, I was able to run my two web cameras, my two 174 cameras at higher output with XSplit than I was with OBS. For whatever reason, when I would open Fire Capture in two instances and pull them into OBS, if both were at the threshold of 50 to 60 FPS, they would crash OBS. And XSplit does not do that. So I'm able to show the calcium line and the hydrogen line at the same time. So I would advise getting started with this. Download OBS. It's free. Once you download it, you'll want to connect it to a microphone, which is on your computer, and a set of speakers so that you can hear what's going on. Now, you saw me running in, putting these on and taking them off. And the reason I did that is because this is the stream audio. And if you turn on the stream audio while you're broadcasting, there's a terrible echo. So the way I got around that is to just put a simple old school pair of headphones into my live feeds so I could monitor them if I needed to. I'd like to say that this is a pretty canned method, and as I've been playing with it, I've been doing. You guys you're aware that I've been streaming to the Facebook page since the pandemic hit, and really trying to get the hang of broadcasting with multiple groups of people while I did it. what I really wanted to do was open this up to you guys so that we could go live, so that while one person was streaming Mars, somebody might be streaming Jupiter and Saturn. And with this software, if you are streaming Jupiter to your YouTube channel, I can pull that feed straight into a BAS Live presentation that we could then broadcast on YouTube or broadcast on Facebook. But unfortunately, with the pandemic, that's been a real option. You know, we would never think about that if there weren't a pandemic. But because there's a pandemic, we're looking for every way we can to share the stars with people. And this is just a great way to do it. Kind of the big things you're faced with when you get started. People say, can I live stream with a laptop? Absolutely. In fact, the first 6 months of me doing this, actually the first 7-8 months of me doing this, I did it from my laptop, my i7 laptop with 32 gigs of memory. I broadcasted with a Yeti mic and a pair of headphones, and I plugged in so many USB devices that they would drop out from time to time. And I will warn you, the more you plug into the computer, the more power it requires. So you're going to need a big beefy power supply. With a laptop, I think you're safe controlling your mount, controlling a focuser, controlling some astronomical software like Stellarium. And I will say also Stellarium will connect to my mount, and I can actually slew to the targets that you see listed here in Stellarium without a secondary. I mean, I have to use it's kind of a program that piggybacks on there. But all these solutions were created way before I got here. And it just takes some research into doing that. I think what I'm going to do, as I was putting this together, there was just no good way to say step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, because there's so many different ways to get to this place, to get to streaming. So I wanted to show you OBS and just how easy it is to display, to put online, and to configure. Now, you'll notice in here, I can move these windows anywhere I want to. So if I wanted to make this window much bigger and hide the adjustments, I could do that. So there are options here. I can make this window bigger so you could see your target better. I could do one at a time. So while maybe on this window we're watching Stellarium, and then I'm moving my target, and then we go back to SharpCap to look at the live stream. Or maybe I go back to the all sky to show you some clouds that are moving through. Or maybe I want to discuss something, so I move to the live camera, and you can see me. Or maybe it's an outro and I just want to put a picture up there with some music. And again, all these are selectable. If you see, I'm just moving through my scenes, and there's fades built in, and you can add any kind of scene into that that you want. And you can adjust. And SharpCap, I suggest getting familiar with SharpCap a little bit before you go live with this, because you're going to need to know how to live stack, and there's kind of a trick to that. It's not really as easy. I will say that these two lightning bolts are your friends, because those are actually auto stacks. They kind of recalibrate everything and get your color squared away. So while I'm showing you this, I'm going to pull up a window and show you exactly how I live streamed solar, like I just showed you. Let's see. Let me get over to my Facebook page here. Again, Facebook. What we got? There we go. YouTube. And my channel. What we got? And this tour of Mars video ended up being really something for any of you guys that caught it. I mean, here I've got I'm showing this spot right here of Mars. And you can be much more polished with this. But you can see the scene kind of moving in and out as I'm broadcasting this. Now, you might see some slowdown there. That's because I'm streaming about 20 different things right now.
And Matt, you just got another subscriber.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so if you go to my solar stuff, I'm going to go to, this is a really nice feed here. Now here, I was able to highlight this wonderful prominence with the energy in the calcium line. And that this is what I envisioned this to do. This is fantastic soft astronomy right here. And I mean, I just don't think it gets any better, to be honest with you. I mean, it might, but I love it.
That's amazing.
It really is. And in the course of the video, see, I did here's the full disc. So you see both spectrums, and then I actually did the hydrogen. So here you see the hydrogen and the calcium. This is with a hydrogen alpha scope. This is with a calcium scope. And again, these are just feeds brought in through. So I have 2 sharp cap windows here pulling these in. Instead of 1, I have 2. So this software, I mean, it's going to be fascinating and fantastic for astronomy. And I really, it takes some time, but I really encourage you to play with it some. Now, having said all this, I probably lost a lot of people because these aren't easy things to do. I'll tell you this. The easiest thing to do is to get your phone, okay, and get an eyepiece adapter and put it in your Dobsonian or your telescope and go to Facebook and hit live on your camera. And it says, do you want to go live? And you say yes, and you're live.
That's pretty good.
Now that is a fantastic way to do it. When YouTube first got started, that was one of the options. You could go live like that in YouTube, but now they've limited that. Now you have to have 1,000 subscribers to be able to go live on a mobile device. I'm working on it, but as you can see, I've got a long way to go. So let's recap. I know this is a lot. OBS, okay? Free software. Once you install it, you can simply go to your scenes and add your scenes and add your feeds. If you look again over your feeds, here's the things you can add. Say one of your friends is a radio astronomer and they pointed their radio telescope at the sun the day that you are imaging and they pulled down that audio feed. You could pull that in. How awesome would that be? Then you got telescope, then you got radio astronomy and solar and visual astronomy going at one time. Audio output capture. A browser window. You know, if you want to pull in the SDO, like you want to pull in the government telescope or something, or maybe say SpaceX is launching something and you want to highlight that, or the ISS is going to go over and you want to highlight that, you can pull that up. A display capture, like you want to show what's going on a chat feed, you can do that. Just a straight up image, you want to go through a slideshow. This is basically a TV show in your backyard. You can do whatever you want to do here, and you simply follow that tutorial to do it. Now, I say simply, but if you follow all the correct procedures to live stream from Facebook and YouTube, and you can do that through their tutorials and get it all set up, once you go to this side and you reach back to it with your passwords, they connect right up. One more feed here. I'm going to show you what, now this was a wonderful night. I actually got on the Trifid Nebula. Here's a globular cluster, and you can see my all-sky camera. On this night, I put it at the bottom of my telescope. So you could see I'm imaging, I think this is M4. So it's right about here behind this tree. And it's the Crab globular cluster, so right over here near Antares. But I like to pull up the target I'm imaging, show where I'm imaging it from, and show the image. This is from the 168 camera, and I'm using QHY live stack it. And I mean, it does a wonderful job on blue and gold stars. So let's look at some of the others I shot that night. Because I went to, where else did I go? I'm still on M4 there. Oh, here's a good one. All right, here is M80. Let me get back over here. So you see I had some movement in my telescope, so I actually had to recenter it. You can see the crawl on the stars, but that's better. But it's green, so then you have to pull the green out of it, and eventually you get to a stable image there that looks much better. But this night, the highlight of this night was using a filter, a triad filter with this camera to see the Trifid Nebula live. So this is live. This is a live stack, and I think this is 30-second images. It's stacking a photo every 30 seconds. So pretty fantastic. Again, this was all OBS. You can align your windows like this. XSplit allows you to do this as well. You can. It's a little bit easier with XSplit, and I also like how XSplit you can stream from multiple devices. Like I have a profile for my laptop now, and I have a profile for my desktop, and I go back and forth. So because ideally, I mean, what I want to get to is be able to go to some, like I can't see Jupiter, Saturn from my driveway. So I want to be able to go someplace where I can see Jupiter, Saturn, hit the hotspot on my phone and go live from my telescope on my laptop.
It's awesome.
So that's what I got. OBS, I will type up a list of software that I used for free. You saw me using, tonight, you saw me using a piece of Moonlight software. Oh, it's over here. I don't know why I keep doing that. You saw me using a piece of Moonlight software to focus my telescope, or focus the telescope. You saw me using Stellarium. Amazingly free software, just wonderful. Again, it will control your telescope, so you can slew it around and do what you need to do there. You saw me using my ASCOM driver for my astrophysics mount right here, and I can change the slew rate, and those are just some pieces to the puzzle, because you'll want to be able to focus from wherever you are. Now you'll notice I'm on the bridge of a really famous starship inside my nice air-conditioned warm house, and everything is outside in the cold, and that is key. So I use an active USB cable, which these things are awesome. I use them for all kinds of stuff, to show movies to students and stretch them across anywhere, plug them in on one end, plug it into a computer. You got 100 feet, no problem. Works all day long. And that's what I use for my high-speed cameras. I will tell you that if you're using two, like if you're going to do solar like I showed you, you're going to need two dedicated cameras, because especially if you're using the 174s, those high frame rates, the higher the frame rate, the more difficult it is for the USB to handle it. So you might need to use two cables. It seems to really struggle depending on your processor and your computer, that sort of thing. So questions. I know it's a lot. There's really no great way to start from the beginning and show how all this works. So other than to have a little bit of it already set up.
I saw.
So I got a quick question. I imagine that the answer to this is yes, but do you know if you have your machine, your host machine that you're broadcasting on, set up to use multiple virtual desktops? Which I do. I can hit Control Windows left right or Control left right and just switch between virtual desktops. if I have an application on there, would OBS be able to still access it and feed it?
OBS is really cranky with that because I
Okay.
try to do that, and sometimes it will and sometimes it won't. It depends on where you are and where you are on a broadcast, how long you've been broadcasting, how much of your system resources are pegged. I should really
Whether or not
monitor
you're running
that so I
Windows.
know what's that.
Whether or not you're running Windows instead of a real operating system.
I'm not going to go there. I don't want to get Jim Amos coming over to my house egging it.
Here's my question. Do you have to have an Apple to run this?
So I didn't hear you, Jim. You have to say that again.
Never mind.
I think he's asking if you had to have Apple to run it. I'm not.
Oh no, Jim, there is no Apple product. There is no Apple
I looked
product.
it up. Yeah, it's Windows, Mac, and Linux compatible OBS. From what I found.
Now I am running. I have about 7 Raspberry Pis running all kinds of things. Any other questions?
I see that XSplit.
Yeah, man, I got a few real quick.
$60 a year.
Yeah, XSplit is about $60 a year. If you're going to do the live streaming and you want to get good at it, pay it. Hands down, XSplit is OBS is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. If you just want to show Jupiter or Saturn, you don't care if you're in it, you don't care how the audio is, you just want to put it on YouTube, OBS is your thing. And honestly, I've seen people use OBS and make my setup look great. So I don't want to heap anything on it because I love free software and OBS is great. But I for my needs and through work, I've really enjoyed XSplit.
So, Matt, a couple questions real quick. Too bad we didn't have this in the 80s, right? Have 2 filters on the sun with everything broadcast live.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. So real quick, I'm gonna run a Dob on it like a cart, you got the top end. This is the poor side of town over here, right? So like a tractor supply buggy.
Okay.
Right, with a flat tire, right? Going to push a Dob up the hill.
I got a flat tire on my scope buggy, so I can't say anything.
And then so what's like a cheap camera I could put on it? I think the iPhone's not gonna be sensitive enough to pick up Jupiter and Saturn.
Well,
right.
no, and so in terms of cameras, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to do planetary stuff, the ZWO 120 is I think around $120 these days. Great planetary camera. My preference with planetary cameras, and I know this isn't everybody's preference, because you sacrifice a lot of clarity or detail when you use a color camera, but I use color cameras just because they make it so much easier. I always had a whole lot of trouble taking a mono and trying to take through filters as it would rotate, derotation and wind dew post and all that just gets, it's really an art. It's really hard to get that stuff perfect. So I would say a nice middle of the road camera these days, the new 247 and the new 183 that are just out through ZWO are fantastic cameras, and their color variants. There's some guys out there doing live astronomy like you saw me doing with that Trifid Nebula. They got a nice big view, decent pixel size, and they got enough frames per second to really make a nice image and do live astronomy well. What you're looking for there is what's called EAA, electronically assisted astronomy, and it's a big thing. It's coming.
There's no tracking. It's going to be like 5 seconds of a planet, then it's gone.
No problem. Well, in that case, all those Mars videos you saw, I was shooting 180 frames per second, so it doesn't matter how good it tracks.
Let's say I get a ZWO and then a cable I got a laptop, and then just put Stellarium on there, the OBS.
Stellarium, OBS, you're rolling, and it
use the phone's hotspot if I want to go live if nobody wants to leave their house.
I know you're on Reddit, Kevin, and Reddit won't let you broadcast through a computer yet live, but you can use your phone. Reddit, you can use your phone to broadcast through Reddit, and I actually went live on Reddit. Through my telescope, and that was, I had I think I was up to like 2,000 viewers like that fast. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, we can get you to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I mean,
Yeah,
everybody on
let's do
this
it.
call, subscribe to Matt. And the thing is, man, it has to be done within a certain period of time.
Yeah.
Like if you have 248 and you get 600 this year, you're not going to get there.
No.
So just a little comment on the camera stuff. If you're not caring about whether it's cooled or not, you're just going to be doing live stuff and, budget's a consideration. I'm pretty content with the ASI 178s that I have.
That's a good camera. I have two of them.
I have the monochrome and the color version of that same camera. And it's got pretty small pixels, but, for about $300, $350, it's not going to put you in the poorhouse.
Right. I mean, I'm all.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm all moon too, so I can't get planets on the iPhone at all. I can get the moon, but I want better moon.
Yeah. Now, Kevin, I don't know. Did you see my moon feeds?
No.
Let me show you some of those because they turned out.
I saw your moon picture in the newsletter.
Oh yeah, that one. That I did that a while back, but here is. Oh goodness, that's not what I wanted.
Well, while you're looking for that, you said you were going to use it on a Dob, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're gonna almost certainly have to get a decent Barlow in the mix to get focus.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, unless you have like this collapsible Skywatcher that's behind me here that has the detent for bino viewers that shorten the focal length. You don't have enough inward focus travel.
I got a Barlow. I don't know how good it is, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, obviously the trade-off with throwing that Barlow in is you're going to, reduce your field of view, so your alignment's going to have to be better and such. But if you're going after lunar and planetary, that's probably going to be just fine for you.
It's a long Barlow, the Barlow I have. I don't know if that helps.
Okay. Yeah, if it's anything that was reasonable, it should work. They're all going to work. It's just the quality changes. I've got a 2.5x Celestron Barlow I throw in this guy. All
right, good. Thanks for the tip. And then I need just the cable. I need the ASI or ZWO, then the cable, then the lap. It's an older laptop. I think it's Windows 7. I can get another one though.
Yeah, I think that should work. Obviously, some of these cameras, depending on like if it's an older laptop, they may not be able to handle a high frame rate camera. As Matt, even if you've got a good cable, if it's a USB 2 ports, they may not be able to handle that high frame rate. So you just end up having to lower the frame rate. It'll still work. You just don't get as much frames. And you're gonna do if you're gonna do lunar and planetary, you're gonna end up doing a lot of videos and stacking those. That's the way to go.
Yeah, that's
but
one way.
EAA is live.
This was actually with the 178 camera.
Which one is it? 170. Okay.
Yep. And you can see what I did was I pulled up Stellarium, and I was actually showing the craters of the moon.
That's perfect.
I mean, you can see it's tracking there. You can see the crater live, and it was really nice and detailed, and depending on where the moon's at in its phase, it can be a lot of fun. There's just a lot of fun to be had doing live streaming, and you get better and better at it. I think most folks look at it and go, "Oh, I couldn't do that." I mean, you can actually see elevation on this thing. Look at that.
That's a good one right there.
But I think most people see this and they go, "Gosh, that's too detailed. That's too technical for me. I don't think I want to do that."
So how did you split the Stellarium in the feed? You probably already told us.
You just add two things in your feed. So watch this. So if I've got Stellarium here, okay, I'm going back over here in my OBS feed.
This old laptop I have has Stellarium on it.
Okay, so I'm going to crop this. See, I'm going to move it. So here's my shark cap. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add something. So say I go to window capture. I'm going to add Stellarium. Did I close Stellarium? Yeah, I did. So I had to open it back up. Hang on one second.
So you're talking when you're broadcasting to YouTube. I mean Facebook or whatever.
Yeah. So here's Stellarium again. Okay, so we'll bring up Stellarium, and I want to find. Oh goodness, I got to find Stellarium here. Got so many windows.
The lights are getting dim on the deck there behind you.
Okay, there you go. So now, see, I've got two things up at the same time. See how I can move those around?
Right. But I'm talking on the laptop on the buggy, on the scope buggy, splitting the screen between Stellarium and the feed.
Okay, so on the laptop, what you'd have to do there is just, you're really going to have to get creative moving things around.
Okay. All right.
There's
That's why I was asking about the virtual desktops more than anything.
Gotcha.
If it works with those, it would be fantastic because you could have fire capture or sharp cap on one screen, Stellarium on the other, or on the various virtual monitors. So you have screen real estate where you can still do stuff.
Right.
Okay. Well, thanks, Matt. I don't want to appreciate all the information. I took notes.
Yeah. So see, you can add these windows. You can make them as big and small as you want to, and put them wherever you want to, so that they fit perfectly in your broadcast window of 1920 or 4K or whatever you want to do. Say you wanted to put make yourself a little window with windows in it, and you had a little window for your video, and you had your title underneath it: Matt Harbison, nerd extraordinaire, Mr. Smarty Pants, whatever you want to call yourself. You can add that. You can make it look as professional or not professional as you want to.
So for us OCD types, is there like a snap to grid for any of these sizings in OBS? Or
yeah, it's buried. I mean, OBS has all the settings. They're just buried.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, because I'm a little type A with stuff like that. It's like, oh, I want these two to be the exact same height. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. It's in here somewhere. I think it's at lock. You can lock down things, and there's a snap to grid someplace. But yeah. Well, okay. Well, if there are no other questions, that's what I've been doing with live streaming, and I'm live streaming this right now. I'm live streaming our meeting to YouTube and OBS and these different softwares to YouTube, all at the same time. So it
And I just checked our Facebook feed, and you've got a couple of comments and even a question. So
oh, good. What's the question? I'll answer it on here.
Let's see. Let me get back to it here. Someone, I think it got answered, was how close to the moon can you zoom with quality image? And I think you ended up showing that nicely.
Yeah, that's as far as I can zoom. Now I have an 11-inch edge, which is about 4,000 millimeter, and I put a Barlow on it 2 times, so 8,000 millimeters, somewhere in there.
Nice.
Now, if Celestron's watching this video, you guys send me a C14. I'm ready. Send it to me.
That's the way to do it.
Well, that's all I've got. Thank you, guys. I want to encourage you to try this. If nothing else, just get on, next time you're out with your telescope, set up Facebook Live and get an eyepiece for your camera, and the little, the Celestron XY, that thing's perfect. Put it in your Dob, go live, and focus on the moon. You won't believe. People will go crazy. How are you doing this? This is some electronic mojo. What's going on here? I mean, you will be a superstar. I'm amazed at the comments that I get on there. But the beauty of it is, we're really showing people. How this works. That you can do astronomy in different ways, and it can be fun. So I encourage you all to get out with your telescopes and try and go live on Facebook. You'll have lots of questions. If you say, gosh, I need this, call me, because I've probably bought 3 of them, and you just come get it from me. But don't skimp on your active cable. Don't do like me and buy the 25-foot. Do like Peter Chernovsky and buy the 100-foot.
Man, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, I think that's a great challenge, and I think Kevin and I accept your challenge.
Nice.
So we're going to attempt this at some point.
Very good. Well, I'm gonna stop the feed on the YouTube. Everybody stick around. I'm gonna kill the feed on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, just put them in the description of the video. Feel free to share. Please like our pages if you haven't already.